One door closes as another one opens right back up, in Amphibia's final mid-season premiere, wrapping the arc on Earth by bringing back all the friends Anne and the Planters made along the way to embark on an insane rescue mission that sees Anne mercilessly pull a Darth Vader. Not only was it amazing to see one of our long-running theories come to fruition, but this episode has planted many more that I'm excited to talk about with all of you. As always, we're going to break down these episodes for all the details you may have missed. We've been working hard to get you guys quality Amphibia and Owl House content as soon as the new episodes roll out, so if you appreciate the videos, please be sure to throw this one a like and subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on, because it's the gift that keeps on giving. We open back up at the FBI office hidden within downtown Los Angeles, on a building actually labeled Conspicuous Inc. So just like Inside Job's Cognito Inc., the big guns are hiding in plain sight. As I suspected in previous breakdowns, all of the Planters' public appearances throughout LA were being silently documented the entire time, as not only do the FBI have on file Cloakbot's assassination attempt from Anne's Terminator, but other incidents from the first half of this season. Sprig taking out the camera from Fight at the Museum, Hop Hop's viral commercial from Hollywood Hop Hop, and Andrias' Santa Jacked attack in Froggy Little Christmas. Mr. X, after being humiliated by Anne and the Planters on 2 previous occasions, finally feels vindicated. Waiting for this moment, he's prepared a pitch of everything he needs to capture the Frog family once and for all, including kombucha on tap. And that's where his higher-ups draw the line.
Is kombucha on tap?
Kombucha on tap! Don't push it, X.
Laying low, the gang, Terry, and Dr. Jan put the finishing touches on the portal, running their operation out of a garage. Terry pitching a solid hypothesis on why the Calamity box is in the form of, well, a music box. And it has everything to do with frequencies. The music notes function as coordinates, with presumably each world having its own specific song. Songs that evidently can be heard within the portal during interdimensional travel, as Anne and the Planters recall a familiar melody during their sudden trip to Earth. Now this is the leitmotif for the Calamity box throughout the series. It's really cool to see it actually tie into the lore in a big way. I find that to be such an incredible detail that'll enhance the viewing experience when revisiting the series. With the help of Dr. Jan's truck as a power source, Terry fires up the portal to moderately successful results, opening a small portal to Amphibia as we see the return of the giant bloodthirsty mantis from the series premiere and our beast. The red mantis goes on to play a bigger role in the episode's climax, and its appearance overall has thematic relevance to the episode, serving as a full circle moment not just because it was the first adversary Anne encountered, but because of what the praying mantis represents in Thai culture: hope and spirituality. Hope being something that Anne momentarily loses in this episode before gaining it back in a very big way, after her parents remind her of the personal growth she's endured over the last 6 months. After the portal closes on the mantis, severing off an arm Infinity War style, Terry assembles a list of supplies that they'll need to generate an even bigger portal. Another instance of an arm being cut off. Anne loses an arm, theorists eat another day. The family heads off to Spenco, a parody of Costco, home of the light of my life, their $1 churros. Oh, sweet cinnamon sugary goodness. Mr. X detects him through the cameras, and you may have noticed that when the camera switches to thermal vision, Anne's depicted with a notable amount of body heat compared to the Planters, as she's, being human, a warm-blooded creature, while amphibians are naturally cold-blooded creatures, even those from other dimensions. Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy engage Anne in some good old-fashioned Star Wars, mimicking The Empire Strikes Back, but I find the phrasing in Mr. Boonchoy's dialogue quite interesting.
The only way to save your father is to defeat me!
This may pan out to be foreshadowing for the series finale, and having to duel either Andrias or Darcy to save her parents. Though likely Darcy, as hinted by the Darth Vader helmet, and the fact that Marcy's memories already gives the core knowledge of what Anne's parents look like. The show flexes its never-ending dark humor on the audience, as Mrs. Boonchoy gets a sneak attack on Anne, pretending to stab her in the back in the exact same way Andrias stabbed Marcy at the end of True Colors. Same color blade and all. Good goopity goop. Thanks to the magic of the toy aisle, Frobo finally gets his RC car body from the Season 3 key art. And after a Die Hard reference, which coincidentally Owl House had one the same week, the FBI corners the gang in the parking lot. The Planters get reprimanded by an agent who looks like a mix of Vin Diesel and Cobra Bubbles. Within the panic, Anne's identity slips out to Mr. X, something I think will factor into the finale, as we definitely have not seen the last of these Earth characters. Now that the FBI knows Anne's name, it'll be easy for them to connect their freaky alien frog case to the initial disappearance of Anne, Marcy, and Sasha. Commit this moment to memory for a while, it might pay off. Mrs. Boonchoi takes the wheel and pulls a reverse Sonic Adventure 2, chasing down the feds, passing a van belonging to one Mr. Galaxy. A clear riff on the Mr. Universe van from Steven Universe, which is a reference planted by former Crewniverse member Joe Johnston. As Mr. X interrogates the planters and learns of how average they are, Polly pulls out a list of her enemies, which references numerous characters throughout the series, regardless of if they have beef with Polly or not. Some towards the end I assume are the toddlers she scrapped with back in Hop to You Drop. Anne recruits all the allies she's made throughout the first half of the season for help. Terry, Dr. Jan, Allie, Jess, Humphrey, Molly Joe for some reason, and 2 adults from the Thai Temple. Now you can't say anything was filler. Oh, the comments are not gonna like that joke. Jan and Terry find the perfect generator, as Mr. X gets to jump on Anne by guiding her into a room where she expects to find Sprig, Polly, and Hop Hop, but instead finds the frogs the Boonchoi swapped out the planters with back in Mr. X's self-titled debut. Ooh, this man would murder at Uno. I hope you guys are enjoying the breakdown, and as promised, we're going to take a moment to have our first ever Amphibia Fan Spotlight. If you watched our new Owl House breakdown, which you should if you haven't, you've seen the first one for those. And now it's the frogs' time to shine. Hit it!
Now I find myself in the wild unknown with the frogs and toads, and I'm far from home. But there's so much here to discover. One leap after another. Hop into the adventure, gotta rivet, rivet, jump on it. Baby, I find, got so much here to discover.
Anne's parents give her a pep talk by hyping up all of her accomplishments from throughout the first half of the season. And I just gotta say, the voice actors for Anne's parents have grown into the role so much in such a short amount of time. I'm not gonna act like it's the peak of acting or anything, but considering Mrs. Boonchoi is voiced by Matt Brawley's mom, who had 0 voice acting experience prior to this, it's pretty impressive how much you can buy into the emotion of this scene. Thanks to Jan and Terry stealing the generator, thus shutting down power on the premises, the gang is able to escape as Anne puts her combat camp skills to use, using the toy lightsaber to mow down FBI agents in an homage to the best scene from Star Wars Rogue One. Mr. Boonchoi has humorous concern over Anne killing someone, which could definitely be looked at as foreshadowing, but if anything, I think Anne would be in a position where she could put an end to the likes of Andrias, but ends up sticking to her moral code, sparing his life instead. The FBI chases our heroes down once more, another pursuit that almost ends with the odds against Mr. X's favor, but he managed to plant a tracker on their truck before they got away. Damn Apple AirTags! Everyone prepares to say their goodbyes at the garage, Anne returning to her St. Jane uniform-infused battle armor. But alas, even with all the extra power, the portal still isn't big enough for Anne and the planters to go through. And now the FBI is here, causing like an insane amount of property damage. It's honestly pretty rude. Mr. X tries to scold Anne, but she is not having it, smacking his hand away and getting juiced up by the power of friendship, finally tapping into her calamity powers from positive emotions instead of negative. Let's go! And Mr. X has just the perfect reaction to this teenage girl going Super Saiyan, and channels her inner Sasha Waybright as she releases a shockwave that knocks the agents onto their feet. And just as we predicted right here on the channel, the calamity energy within Anne works in tandem with portals. As Allie and Jess put it, she's a human battery, giving the portal more than enough energy to send them home. But the battle's not done, as Anne sacrifices Hop Pop's precious avocado to draw the attention of the one-armed mantis, which realistically would have brutally murdered the agents, tearing them apart limb from limb. But we're on Disney, so they get a surprising upper hand, although the portal is wrecked in the process. Chances are, they're gonna tame this mantis and it'll pop up again next time we see Earth, and assuming the FBI can fix up that portal, that'll probably be the episode Three Armies, with the third army not being a divide between Andrias and the core, but the people of Earth themselves. Stay tuned for that theory video, because I think things are gonna get even crazier from here. Mr. X prepares to interrogate the Boonchoys, only to find out that, homie, they're gonna interrogate you. After all, everything the FBI put a 13-year-old girl through is kinda batshit. But if Anne's parents explain everything to Mr. X, not only could they find a room for collaboration, but this may also be the encounter we needed for Marcy and Sasha's parents to get involved. First receiving Anne's letters, then being brought in by the FBI themselves. Exciting stuff ahead. And with this, we say farewell to Earth. At least for a little while, as Anne comes to an Amphibia, presumably collapsing after using her powers. The planters are already pulled in by the horrifying state of Amphibia, stripped of color as it's tainted by Andrias' nonstop terraforming and pollution caused by his machines, leaving Anne speechless, as all she can mutter are 3 words. What happened here? Setting the darker tone for what's sure to be Amphibia's heart-wrenching calamity. Hey, why is the happy credits music playing? I'm trying to monologue here. As always, I want to know what you guys thought of this episode. Do you think the FBI agents are just total clowns, taken out too easily? Or do you believe that Anne, with everything she went through in Amphibia, could reasonably take them out, cartoon logic or not? Let us know in the comments down below, or keep the conversation going at Roundtable Vids and at Ostrich Vox on both Twitter and Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. See ya!